Okay, so once again, good morning to everyone, and welcome to this day's activity, which is the Parents General Assembly. So today, we are going to see four agenda. And what are those? First, we'll have the plans of BHC for the coming school year 2022-2023. That will be presented by Teacher Robert, followed by the PVMGO discussion, which is the philosophy, vision, mission, goals and objectives to be discussed by Teacher Lori. And then we will have the curriculum discussion to be discussed by yours truly. And finally, the different end of school year rights. So these are the moving up, recognition, and graduation ceremonies. Okay, so without further ado, may I now pass the screen, the platform to our beloved elementary principal, Teacher Robert, to discuss the different plans for school year 2022-2023.
Thank you, Teacher Danny. I hope I can be heard. I can be heard now. Good morning to everyone. And as always, I can't help but to admire you, our dear parents, for always taking time to join us in this and gatherings like this. This is probably an assurance that our shared responsibility for the next generation is still valid, and we are not giving up for the growth and development of our children. And again, thank you for being with us all the time. Whenever we want, we will ask you to be with us for a general meeting. When the year 2022 came by, knowing that it will just be a few months before the next school year will commence, probably you already have questions about what will be the setup in BHC for next school year. And practically, talking about the plans for next school year right now is relevant and timely because whatever decisions we will make will affect two important dimensions in the lives of our children. Their education, that's number one. And number two, everyone's health and safety, especially to them. Allow me to start by this image of a child, a learner or a student, anticipating and looking forward, if you can see the question in his mind, anticipating and looking forward for the next school year. One question that the child will have in mind is this. There is this thing in his and in their horizon, and they will be excited to know if 2022, 2023 will be of what they are anticipating. That is, they'll go back to how it has been. They will enter the school to learn with their friends. Or the other one is, will they still be at the comfort of your homes? Look at the images. At home, they are going to do the following. They will complete their worksheets. As you can see, too many worksheets. Digesting lessons at their own using the printed modules. Attending online classes. Another one, completing tasks in the Google Classroom. Taking online assessment via Desmos. And more tasks, right? And so we know too well, as we have already received some questions from parents as to the setup of next school year, that our dear parents are right now at the brim of asking, Mag face-to-face na ba kaya ang BHC next school year, or anything like that? So a parent might ask if BHC will still be in a blended learning modality. Maaring ito yung magiging concern natin. Does my child get to maximize his potentials in an online learning environment? Of course, we somehow has this question in mind, but we can answer you at the perspective of being an educator. We at the front line in education consider online classes as the nearest substitute of face-to-face interactions. But we can admit that online classes has limitations. But probably it's the best option ever in these times, since there is a real interaction between the teacher and the student, and student to student. And in these interactions, we always can claim that we amplify the learning that we present for them. And it's better rather than just plainly modular learning. Or, on the other hand, if BHC will transition to the face-to-face, your concerns will be this. Is it time to allow your children in an in-person or face-to-face class setup? Of course, this question will have to put into assuage a relation into health concerns. And so, having these two questions and considerations in mind makes it more difficult to make decisions, although our decisions will always be influenced by the government agencies like the Department of Health, the IATF, the Department of Education to provide decisions nationwide. Before I go to the plan, of which that's the purpose why I am having this virtual space to present to you the plan, let me share with you the considerations that we have made in crafting the final plan for school year 2022-2023. The first, whatever decisions that we'll make, it will always be an influence of the COVID-19 situation in the country. Personally, I have never understood the word uncertainty until the pandemic came. Things are always uncertain right now, and we have experienced rise and fall and even surge of the COVID-19 since 2020 in the and by this time, we can never tell what will happen in our cases in the coming months. And this will greatly affect our plans. I can name what happened in 2020 during the first year of the pandemic, when the Department of Education postponed the opening of classes. I think it's thrice. They started announcing June and then went to August, then September, then October. Okay. Another considerations that we are thinking in crafting is number 2. Of course, the decisions and the recommendations of the Department of Education. Although BHC is a private institution, we are still under their influence, and most of the time we abide by their decisions. Although that's the case, we can always adjust for our situation and can deviate, as long as, here's the thing, if we deviate, we will comply with a long list of requirements and paper documents. That's the thing. Another consideration, number 3, of course, you are very familiar with the pilot face-to-face, which was implemented last year, particularly November 15, nationwide. The pilot face-to-face classes was, of course, with the selected participating schools. Okay, the data of the pilot face-to-face will be an important consideration in the crafting, of course. If it proves to be okay, then probably everyone, all schools will have the tendency to go with it, right? And of course, we will always consider these, you are dear parents, mutual agreement of stakeholders. Of course, we will always listen to what you will say, as the thing called SSAT standard set by the DepEd will always include a survey report from what we will conduct to you. Okay? So these are our considerations in crafting. So talking about the face-to-face pilot classes implemented nationwide, allow me to present the assessment report made by the Department of Education. I am not sure, as I am presenting it to you right now, I'm not sure if this is still confidential because it has not been disseminated yet, according to a DepEd official in Region 1 that I have talked to, but I have asked permission. So first of the report, yung source, of course, yung source dito, as you can see, DepEd Region 1 office, Regional Office number 1. There were 284 schools who participated in the conduct of pilot face-to-face. 265 from public and 19 from private. And then in this number of schools, more than 15,000 learners participated and about 3,000 teachers and non-teaching personnel involved. And the study period started November 15, 2021 and ended December 2021. Although the report consisted of 31 pages compiled in a PowerPoint, I'll just post the highlights. Okay, these are the highlights of their evaluation. First, there was high level of attendance among participating learners. So how high is the level of attendance? 94% attendance rate from private schools and 81% in public school. Of course, it was affected by Typhoon Odette in the regions affected. Okay. Number 2, learners, parents, and teachers felt safe against COVID-19 during pilot implementation. I just simply highlight the number, the data. According to the report, almost 99% of kinder to grade 3 learner respondent felt safe. 78% among senior high school and high school felt safe. And for the parents, 94% and guardians felt safe in bringing their children and picking them up after the face-to-face class. Okay. Another one is a highlight of the report. Learners and parents were highly satisfied with the improvement brought about by face-to-face classes in teaching and learning. In the report, it also indicates the positive impact of reintroduction of face-to-face classes on learning behavior of learners. There is also high level of satisfaction in the overall experience on pilot face-to-face classes. And the last part of the highlights is that teachers and school heads expressed confidence in the continued implementation. And by this, we can basically say that the pilot implementation of face-to-face was a success. Although there were challenges met by those who participated the pilot implementation, but they were just minor. Okay, and for this, phase 2 of this pilot shall start again and commence again next month, according to the Department of Education. Okay, here is the memorandum. Wait lang. Okay, before that memorandum, with the success of the pilot face-to-face, let me just simply highlight the recommendation. Okay. with the with the success of the pilot, once the school meets all the standards of school safety assessment tool, that's the SSAT, they can start face-to-face classes when their area is under COVID alert level 1 or level 2. I think in La Union, you are still in level 3. Here is now a portion of the released expansion of the face-to-face classes. It is entitled Preparations for the Implementation of the Expanded Phase of Face-to-Face Classes. It was released December 9, 2021. Although there has been a great change in the cases nationwide in December, where we at least reached the lowest active cases in the Philippines in December, right? And it's different right now with the presence of Omicron. Okay, this is if I am going to be particular, this is DO or DepEd Memorandum 085 Series 2021. Okay, I'd like to just talk about portions of this memorandum. Number 3, as part of the further preparations for the implementation of the expanded face-to-face. Okay. All public, I'd like to highlight that, all public and private, which includes us, schools nationwide, shall start preparations for face-to-face. So we are already encouraged, although before the implementation of the pilot face-to-face last November, we already had talks about the preparation for the coming back to face-to-face classes. Okay. Another thing, this is for us, private schools. Item number 4, for private schools that intend to implement limited face-to-face classes, school administrators are requested to submit the following. These are some of the requirements, but yung item letter D, ito marami to, yung SSAT standards for safety. That's the memorandum, DepEd Memorandum 085 for the expansion of face-to-face classes. Having all these to consider, what now? What is the plan of PHC for the school year 2022-2023? Although what I'm going to present is not in full detail, as we still need to prepare several documents, if in case we transition to what people talk about, which is the face-to-face. Okay, we are in the process of crafting these, but for now, we have Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is this. There is these emerging types of education modalities since our schools or the schools nationwide have already adapted to the terminologies before, yung blended learning, online, or modular, of which we chose blended. We have now four modalities, which are on campus, high flex, hybrid, and online. And we are planning, if conditions will be better, we will go for a hybrid education modality. And our Plan B will stick to the same modality, which is blended distance learning. Let me go back to Plan A, which we call it hybrid. Okay. What is a hybrid education modality? By definition, by principle, hybrid formats split time on campus and virtual environments. There are times, this means that there are times when our students will come to school probably twice a week, come to school to accomplish a specific task while we still maintain online or Zoom engagement. Further, in a hybrid modality, students attend on-campus classes or at designated times and engage in virtual learning activities, which may be still there is synchronous and asynchronous. Here, tasks are intentionally designed to be delivered virtually for specific activities. We will select activities that we will do for virtual Zoom conference, and some activities they will be required to come to school in person. For example, we designate completion of performance task in school. So they will come during performance tasks day or whatever it is that we will agree on, whether it's during examination, long test, or during oral examinations. Okay. Although there is this other term which they call it high flex. The difference ng hybrid and high flex, they are actually both combinations of on-campus and virtual environments. But the only difference sa high flex is in high flex, it is designed to accommodate individual students' preferences. Okay, we will ask students which they will prefer, whether they will just simply stay at home for online classes, while those who will prefer to come to school for their classes, okay, will have an in-person class. Okay, for the hybrid one, everyone has the same time to come to school and have online classes. Okay, but whatever it is that we will mutually agree upon, that will be our plan A. And our plan B, the similar modality. So for the similar modality, we'll still have a complete modular distance learning. You will still receive the printed modules. This pala plan B, we will go for plan B if the erratic rise and fall of the cases where hindi ko to pinagdarasal, when more mutations and variants will emerge. This is where the uncertainty will come into play. We will go back to that. So for the similar modality, modular distance learning, and then we'll have the online learning modality where your children will attend classes via Zoom. And we'll have yung sa online, will have synchronous and asynchronous. So, sa asynchronous, will be requiring students to have interactions with us, accomplish tasks in the Google Classroom. Okay, and that is it. Before we proceed to the next part, we have decided to accommodate probably to open a mini open forum, and we will accommodate 5 questions. If in case that you will not be called, you can just simply type in the chat box your questions so that we can just simply read them and we'll come back to you. Teacher Lori, Teacher Danny, and I will try to answer your questions. You can now just simply make use of the feature of Zoom, yung raise hand if you have some questions with regard to this. Thank you so much. While you are thinking of your questions, as my last words here, let us try to make whatever plans we make in a way that we'll have more collaborations with you and collaborations with your children, and yet we protect each other in this challenging time. Okay, Teacher Danny, Teacher Lori, are there questions na?
So far in our chat room here in Zoom, there are no questions yet. Maybe they are still thinking of some questions or reserving the questions later. Oh, meron na po. So from Ma'am Ma'am Eileen, for Plan A po, is it applicable to all grade levels po? Thanks, teacher.
Si Teacher Lori, will she answer ba? In our initial talk, of course, yung hybrid, it is to be implemented for all. But if we have the high flex, wherein you can give your a chance to you to choose whether you will require your children to come on campus for the classes or not. Teacher Lori, anything that you'd like to say on that?
Yeah, that's correct, Chair Robert. Good morning, dear parents. Yes, because I believe that there are still other parents who do not want their children to come to school. I know some of you. The others have already told me their intention. So we're opening the high flex so that because according to DepEd, when I have attended the seminar and the webinar, I should say, we cannot impose children to come to school. It's the right to stay at home and learn. So we're opening the high flex for those who wouldn't want to come physically for instruction here in our school.
Sir Rex is raising
Correct?
hand.
Yes.
Yes, I would just like to ask, how are you going to choose the participating students or pupils during the high flex? And then another thing is, how many % of the students are allowed to come to class physically?
Sir Rex, thank you for the question. For the high flex, it's the choice of the parents. It's a choice, I should say. It's the choice of the parents. And for the hybrid, DepEd is requiring us to accommodate only 12 to 15 students per class. Therefore, we are going to divide our students, those who are coming for hybrid, to come to us in sessions like Monday, Tuesday, as mentioned by Robert a while back, 2 days to school to accommodate the 12 to 15 students. And then we have to leave 1 day for our disinfection. And then Thursday, Friday, another group of children will be coming to school. So all of them will be accommodated. It depends on the schedule. Because for elementary, we can give the maximum of 3.5 hours in school. So we can have the morning session. Others will come in the afternoon session. And then for the high school, grade 7 to 12, the maximum hours is 4 hours to school. So we will do in that agreement, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, Sir Rex.
I think the same question is raised by Ma'am Bing. Ma'am Bing, how many kids or learners per class? If ever the face-to-face will push through. How about preschool po? Are they included in hybrid? I think those questions are already answered.
Yeah, even preschool, they can join the hybrid because, actually, it would be better for younger ones to come because they're the ones who need the foundation pretty well. We have to remember that the very foundation of the children are taken during the early age. Thank
Okay,
you.
we have another question here from Ma'am Tori. Good morning, teachers. Any plans for students with comorbidity, example asthma or cardio-related sicknesses?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe we advise you to go on high flex so that the child could stay home. We have to remember that more exposure will definitely affect this kind of students. So we request you to choose the HyFlex other than the hybrid. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we have another question here from Engineer Ofilada. How can you accommodate the 90 students of grade 11 if hybrid is chosen or if they have to go to school, for example?
Just like I have said a while back, Engineer Filada, we are going to go on schedule for those classes with the 90, 90 is the biggest class that we have. We are going to go on schedule like 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. So we can accommodate them up to Saturday, just to give more time for them to catch up, especially those classes wherein their presence is needed. For senior high school, there are some subjects that require their skills to be developed. So they are in these times that they will be required to come to school. Thank you, Engineer Pulada.
Okay, this is not a question, but I think just a comment. I hope hindi mandatory sa BHC ang vaccination ng students.
Well, it is always your option, my dear parents, though. Yesterday, I just received a communication from DepEd requiring us to submit the list of our learners, and the purpose of which is for the vaccination from year 5 years old up. So as mentioned by Robert, we are still under DepEd, and so requirements are to be submitted. We have to remember that we are within their umbrella. However, again, it's your choice. The vaccination is not being imposed, although in our community here in the school, we require our teachers and the non-teaching personnel because we are after the safety of everyone and likewise the safety of your children. Thank you so much, Pa.
Okay, so I think the same question is coming from Ma'am Gapas. Those coming in for face-to-face, are they going to be tested first? Thank you po. So I think that question was already answered. Then from Ma'am Ria Alas, for students who are outside La Union, what do you suggest po?
Yes, Ma'am Alas, actually we have our learners coming outside La Union are getting bigger or getting more. That's why we're opening HyFlex for them. Still, they can join our BHC family by choosing the HyFlex.
Okay. I think the same question coming from Sir Stephen Ree. Good day po. Should you consider vaccinated students to attend the class since vaccination for 5 to 11 years old is coming soon? So I think that was already answered a while ago. It will be your choice po if you want your children to be vaccinated. All right, then from Ma'am Catherine. For consideration to both Plan A and B, let us all be guided by DepEd DOH Joint Memorandum Circular number 1 series of 2021, otherwise known as the Operational Guidelines on Implementation of Limited Face-to-Face Learning Modality, also with the compliance with the policies by DepEd as discussed by Sir Robert. However, the bottom line there is the parents' decision for their kids, either to what modality they prefer. We thank you for this platform and initiative of BHC for parents consultation from Sir Oliver Gutierrez. Okay po. So it's hindi pala siya question, so it's just a comment or suggestion. All right.
Okay, I think Danny, we have to go. We reserve the other questions. Maybe they can just chat it and then we will be answering them after. Thank you so much.
All right. So for the questions which were not answered, I think we have five more questions. We will be addressing them later na lang po at the end of this meeting. Okay, so let me again share my screen. Okay, so please take note again, parents, that this is our attendance link, or you may refer to our chat box for the link of the attendance. I hope everybody has already filled out our attendance sheet. All right, so if you're going back, if you'll go back to our agenda for today, our first agendum was already done, which is the different plans for school year 2022-2023. And we will now proceed to our next agendum, which is the PVMGO discussion, to be delivered by our school director, Teacher Lori.
Okay, good morning once again, other parents. So right now on screen, we are 264, meaning there are about 261 parents joining us. We upgraded our Zoom link to 500 because the last time that we had, we were not able to accommodate the 300, and we received some comments that they were not able to attend. So this time we are encouraging more attendance to really maximize what we have done in school, the upgrading of our one of our link. Okay, so this morning, before I would like to bring to you our discussion on the philosophy, the vision, the mission, and the goals and objectives of our school, I would like first to thank everyone for the support and the cooperation, and even for sponsoring our activities in the celebration of our 27th foundation anniversary. No, that was 27, and we've gone far already. The message of the priest yesterday during the opening mass, I was so touched that I never expected that we are still here, that we are still working for the benefit of the children, and of course, all of us, the BHC family. That many have already succeeded in their chosen career and enjoying now their own field. Many are still working on their college lives, and still many are coming to join us in the preparation of their basic education. So with that, we thank you for supporting us, and you never left us. And yesterday, as I was reading all the comments during the celebration of the Ranyag, I have seen how, and I was so touched by some kind comments of the parents. BHC forever, we love BHC, never to leave BHC. All of those inspire us in school to work harder. So at this time, my dear parents, we do not want to impose, we do not want to obligate you something to do, but we open this General Assembly for you to give your own reflection, for you to give your own suggestion, so that there will be mutual understanding, as it was emphasized a while back by Robert, that whatever we agree on will be the one that we are going to do, so that this will redound to the success of the education of our children. So let me start with the philosophy of the school. We have to remember that we are now in the 21st century, and not only that, we were visited by this unknown enemy that we have. So therefore, there's a need to adjust, or maybe try to do some upgrading on our philosophy. So the philosophy that we are proposing now is the holistic development through excellence in mind, the heart, and the spirit. So we are not just here for the academic, academics, I should say. Right now, actually, I always emphasize to the teacher and to all parents who are messaging us that in cases that their children are sick, our main priority this time is the health. Second to it is the academics. So once your children are not doing well, or even you, my dear parents, we prioritize the health. Okay, so we included now in our philosophy the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Okay, so next, please. The vision. We tried to simplify our vision in just one statement so that everybody can just say it. You know, I was given the chance to visit virtually some schools, and I started last year and early this year. I have seen a lot on how their visions are stated. I have seen a lot on how classes are conducted. And you know, it's not that I am the one leading the school. It's not that I am here, that I will tell you we are luckier. We are luckier in terms of modality. We are luckier in terms of teachers. We are luckier in terms of leadership. And we are luckier also in school with your support and cooperation. Because, you know, I visited NCR schools, Region 4A schools, Region 4B schools, because I was one, that is a mandate from the government. So I have really seen it. But there are also things that I have seen which I admire and I want to have it in our school. Okay, so the vision, we simplify it to the School of Excellence in the North. Okay, still in the North. Though long time ago, we've been competing already in Manila, and not only that, even in the international level. Okay, so next, please. Our mission. So we tried to state it in one sentence, and that. So we have to address on how we are going to reach our vision. So we are limiting into one to provide unlimited opportunities for the holistic development of your children. Unlimited opportunities. So meaning to say it covers what is happening now. So we're trying to adjust the strategy, the modality, and even the way we handle our children. So we tried to incorporate all of this so that we can really cope up with a global standard. Next, please, Teacher Danny. Okay, so these are the goals and objectives. The other side, the left side, these are the ones that we had for the past 26 years. And now for this year that we have our 27th, we are having it on the right side. And I would like to start it that our school commits itself to, number one, educate and mold learners with Christian values, although it's still the same, but we are only limiting it to what we can do now. Second, provide learners with various learning experiences which will enable them to grow, live, and become responsible citizens of the society where they belong. So it's there. The third one, to develop the learners' 21st century skills to prepare them for global standard. That is not found on the first part of our goals and objectives. That's why we are now trying to revisit and try to revise so that we can cope up with the global standards. The 21st century, especially for our junior and senior high school that must have so that they will be equipped when they will go to college. Okay, the fourth one, motivate and stimulate the learners' enthusiasm for co and extracurricular activities. As you know, I have seen yesterday, most of the teachers were surprised to see some students who were shy, timid at that, but doing activities on screen, showing to us on how they perform their numbers. Wow, the confidence level really rose up. Kumbaga sa ano is, na-develop na sila. So, you know, even here on the screen, that's what I am sharing to others. We can develop the communication skills of our children because we let them recite. And the confidence is also being developed. So they do not believe that this one can be done. I said, yes, it can be done. By asking them to share their thoughts. Even in my grade 12 and in my grade 8 classes, they need to recite because it's useless that they are there for an hour without doing nothing. Okay, so we are doing all of this, providing them various learning experiences. Okay, next please, Teacher Danny. Okay, the core values. These ones on the right are the old ones, so we try to add excellence and reputation. Nailed natin yan because up to now, we are, it's being demonstrated by our students. Humility, yes, you know, they used to compare our students to some school.
Nasasanay ka na na tuwing maghuhugas ka, ano,
Ma'am,
ng mga basura dito, anak.
Ma'am, can we mute po yung ating microphone po? We're having a meeting, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, this ones is very much demonstrated by our students. Though I know that a lot of you belongs to family A, hindi po yun nakikita sa inyong mga anak na pinapakita sila na mayaman sila, mayroon silang lahat na ganito, hindi. Kaya nga palagi silang kinukumpara sa mga ibang schools na bakit yung mga taga BHC kahit na mayroon sila, hindi mo nakikita. Kasi nga, this is being integrated and it is being now demonstrated by our students. And being humble, of course, is one of those things that we can be proud of. Then service to students, we change to discipline. Why discipline? I am not saying that everyone is perfect. But again, there are still others, there are still things that we need to improve. So instead of giving services, then we try to make it more demonstrative. Kasi medyo, no? I have seen that when we were about more than 1,000. I have seen that medyo, no? Nagkaroon ng mga kunting problema. So, although I am not attributing to the school also, and even to your home, because, you know, sometimes, most often than not, the social media can greatly influence our children now. So, we have to work on this, okay? And then the last one, ingenuity. This was long time ago, you know, one parent approached me telling me that, Teacher Lori, you know, my daughter, when I transferred her to another school, this was so much noticed by the school and the classmates and the teachers that my child demonstrating this kind of value. Why? Because it was is available. That is one thing that goes with that values ingenuity. Okay, so those are the things that we want to share to you so that we can address what is happening right now. We tried to retain those things which we think and we have proven already. Then we tried to expand, and we tried also to innovate so that we can address the present situation. So if there are things that you want to share or you want to suggest, then we are still open for these things so that we can discuss it. Thank you very much. Danny, I'm done.
All right, so okay, so thank you very much, Teacher Lori, for that wonderful cascading of our philosophy, vision, mission, goals, and objectives to our stakeholders, our dear parents. So we are already done with the first two agenda for today, the plans for school year 2022-2023 and the PVMGO discussion. We will now proceed to the curriculum discussion, the cascading of our curriculum to you, our dear stakeholders. Okay, so let's now proceed. So for our curriculum discussion, we will have the following. First, the type of curriculum that we follow. Second, we have the MELCs. And third, we have the grading system. So what is the type of curriculum that we follow? Of course, we are still under the Department of Education. Therefore, we follow the K-12 basic education curriculum anchored into the Republic Act number 10533. So this is the law, an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes. So this is the basis of the curriculum that we follow today, which is the K-12 basic education curriculum. Next one, we have the MELCs. So what is this MELCs? MELCs is an acronym. It's an acronym that stands for the most essential learning competencies. So what's the relevance of this? Actually, the MELCs was introduced in 2020 during the start of the distance learning modality. For the past years, during the start of the K-12 education program, we follow a certain curriculum guide. Those are the things or the competencies that are expected to be learned and achieved by the learners. But when the pandemic started, they reduced the number of topics. They reduced the number of competencies, they reduced the number of topics. Only those which the DepEd curriculum planners thought of as essential to the learners to learn. And those can be seen in the MELCs. Okay, the copy of the MELCs in PDF form is actually readily available in Google. I-Google lang po natin, meron pong lalabas na ganito. So we have the K-12 most essential learning competencies. And what's the content of the MELCs? So here, you would see that these are the different subjects with their corresponding pages. So we have the table of contents for kindergarten, pages 8 to 22. So doon po natin makikita yung mga learning competencies, yung mga topics na dapat matutunan ng mga bata. For ESP, nandito rin po yun. Araling Panlipunan, English, Filipino, Mathematics, Music, Arts, P, and Health, and the Mother Tongue. Okay, so this is for junior high school. We also have the MELCs for senior high school. Also in junior high school, we have science and EPP or TLE. For senior high school, we have the senior high school core subjects. So nandito po yung mga subjects na core for senior high school, meaning these are subjects which are to be taken by all tracks and all strands. Lahat po yun. Then for applied subjects, these are subjects to be taken by different tracks. And for specialized subjects, these are subjects to be taken by the different strands of the academic track. So makita po natin dito yung mga specialized subjects ng ABM, HUM, STEM, then the others. Okay? So ito po yung MELCs na sinasabi. This is the MELCs, the most essential learning competencies. If you want to keep track of the lessons or topics or competencies that your child are learning, then you may refer to the MELCs. All right. Now, how about for the grading system? So our grading system during the time of pandemic, this distance learning, was based on DepEd Order number 31, series of 2020. So DepEd released this one, this grading system, the interim guidelines for assessment and grading in light of the basic education learning continuity plan. So this is the basis now of the grading system. Wherein here, the weight distribution for grades 1 to 10, written works for languages AP and ESP. So naka-classify po siya dito. For languages like Filipino and English, Araling Panlipunan and ESP, written works is 40% and performance task is 60%. And then for science and math, written works is 50%, performance tasks 50%. And for MAPE, EPP, TLE, written works is 30%, performance task is 70%. So that is for the for elementary to junior high school. For senior high school, the core subjects, the written works is 40%, the performance task is 60%. And all other subjects will have 40% for written works and performance tasks for academic track. But for research work immersion, 50% is for written works and 50% for performance tasks. We are not concerned with the tech book because we do not offer tech book. So you might be asking, where will the examination fall? Okay, so dito po tayo. So this is the BHC version of the grading system that will come from, that is based on the DepEd memorandum. So for example, in mathematics, we use Excel to compute the grades. The written works po, that is 50%. The worksheets and other Google Classroom activities are given 20% of 50%. Long tests are given 40% of the 50%. And the exam is given 40% of the 50%. So yun po. Then the exam is divided into two. We have the oral and online. So for the oral, that will be 1/3 of the 40% na exam. And for the online, that is 2/3 of the 40% na exam. So it will be computed automatically through an Excel formula. Okay, and then for the performance tasks, we have the mini tasks and the performance tasks, the big tasks. We call this big task, yung PT. So we will get the average of the percentile score for MP and for PT, and that will be the composition for the 50%. And then we will combine the 50% for written work and 50% for performance tasks. Then we'll have an initial grade, but that initial grade is not yet the final grade because that will still be transmuted based on the DepEd memo. So there is a transmutation given by DepEd then it will be transmuted into its equivalent transmuted grade, and that will be the final grade for the quarter of the students. So that's how we compute for the grades. All right, so that's it. So that's all for my presentation. I guess before we will proceed to the fourth agendum rather, maybe we can already accommodate the questions which were not addressed a while ago, and also other questions that you have for the PVMGO and curriculum discussions. Because for the end of school year rights, I think we will only be asking the parents of Kinder 2, grade 6, grade 10, and grade 12 to stay. Because the end of school year rights will cover the moving up, the graduation ceremonies. Okay? Kasi medyo mahaba rin po itong end of school year rights because we need to discuss here.
Danny,
Yes, sure.
I think all of them can join us in that because
Pwede pa rin po, sure.
because there are some parents whose children are to be recognized likewise, right?
Okay.
So we have to
Yes,
include
oo
the
pala.
recognition, yes. Thank
Sige
you,
po.
Teacher Danny.
Sige, I think we can already proceed with the end of school year rights na. Since we also, we also include recognition here. We need to discuss some matters here because we need to know whether this will be done still virtually or physical na po. All right, so may I now give the floor to Teacher Lori for this. Again, for the attendance, you may check on our chat box. For those who are still, or for those who have not yet filled out our attendance sheet. Teacher Lori.
Okay, okay, good morning once again, our dear parents. We are about to end already our General Assembly. But before that, we'd like to ask you, we are preparing two plans actually for our the different rights that we will be having in school. But again, it depends on the situation that we have. Although all of this will come after the May election. So all rights will come after the May election. The final exams of our children will be conducted by the last week of April. We have the first week, which is Holy Week, right? And then the last week of April, that is 23, the last day of the school year. However, we might, there might be some changes here, 23, or it can go beyond 27, something like that. It depends on if there are still things that the teachers have to include. Remember, we did not have a full classes this week and last week because of the memorandum from DepEd, although we tried to debate in some because we are not that much affected. The DepEd right now are having 2 weeks academic ease, academic freedom. But for us, we tried to reduce it only in a day for the wellness day of our children, because I do believe that having the 2 weeks, I think, and we are going to extend for another 2 weeks, in the end, it would be harder on your part and our. Most of you want to have your children busy also during the weekdays that you are having your works also. So we tried to do some innovations lang na reduce the number of hours, and then we give them a day to relax, and then a day for their asynchronous. Then we maintain the 2 weeks. So we did not actually follow because we are not that much affected naman. Even our teaching force, we ask our teachers 50% stay for work from home, and then others report to school just to comply with what was given to us. So maybe we will extend the 1 week in that case so that we can still give what is not included or what was not tackled. Now, my dear parents, I would like to pose a question. Would you like to go for a face-to-face graduation rites or recognition rites? Mayroon ba? Or would you rather go for what we have done last year? You came here for a group picture with your children, the family, and then we had the virtual rites. May we hear from the parents of the grade 12. Parents of the grade 12. Okay, from Ma'am Daphne saying same as last year po. Maybe the others, other grade 12. You know, the students are very much willing to come to school already for the graduation rites of the grade 12. Actually, they are the ones affected. So Ma'am Andrada is face-to-face, okay. So as I have said, okay, Ma'am Jennifer Landingin also is telling face-to-face, all right. That's grade 6, no? We will try to see that Ma'am Landingin because actually the plan A that we already tried to work on it is the young ones will go on virtual and we are looking for grade 12 to go for face-to-face. Yun po yung plan A, plan B natin sa school. But again, as we have said, we are trying to get your suggestions so that we can do things in a mutual manner. Okay, so only 3 parents? What about the others? Mama Desi is face-to-face for grade 12, okay? So, okay. Maybe some of you were thinking on, it depends. Kasi we did not expect the Omicron to be with us, right? And the transmission, which is too fast. We did not expect that the entire Philippines will go for 38,000 COVID patients, right? So, depending nga naman. However, we have to have the plan. And so therefore, what we're going to do now is to have the plan A and plan B. And we will be disseminating this plan A and plan B. So during April, maybe, if we could already see that everything is going down, the COVID-19 is already slowing or going down, then maybe we can go for face-to-face. But if not, then we go back to the virtual graduation, recognition, and what's the other one? Moving up. Yes. Yeah, moving up. So yon. And if in that case, we will still ask you to come to school. Actually, we want sana early by this last week or second week of February. The graduates will now have to have their picture taking so that we can schedule it in a way that you will not be here as group, but you will be coming here in your own schedule lang para po maiwasan natin ang transmission. Okay, so again, expect that all graduations, moving up activity, and recognition will be done after the May election. So it will come second week to third week of May. So maraming salamat po. Yun lang po yung tungkol sa ating rights. But of course, we would also like to inform you that by the end of February, we're going to have the third quarter, and the fourth quarter examination will be the last week of April. And for the retrieval of our worksheets, we are scheduling it next week. That is January 6 and January 10. Okay, that is January. Did I see January? January 7 ba? What is? February na pala tayo. No? February, I'm sorry. I'm looking at January calendar. So what is February 6? Sunday, February 5, I should say. February 5 and Feb 8. Feb 7. Tama ba ako, Danny?
Yes, po, February 5 to 7.
So again, retrieval of worksheets. The first 3 worksheets is February 5 and February 7. Okay. So I think that's all, not unless you still have questions. If there are things that you want to share, you want to suggest, and if you cannot have them now, yeah, okay. I think Sir Oquendo is raising his hand, Teacher Danny.
Hello, sir. You may unmute yourself po so we could hear your question. Sir, I think you're still muted po. Sir Loreto Oquendo po. You are muted po. If you have a question po, you may unmute yourself so you could raise your question.
May suggestion lang po sana ako, sir.
Sige po, sir.
Regarding po doon sa hybrid class, as you have said, it's always the choice of the parents. Pero I'm just requesting po, encouraging all the parents for their student to please have their fully vaccinated. I'm just sharing po yung experience ko. I was infected by the COVID-19 for 3 times, but I was fully vaccinated and booster. Even my children, this Prince, King, and Princess. Thanks to God, it's all asymptomatic and nothing happened to us. So kung magpo-proceed po sana sa hybrid, napakalaking advantage po, sir, na mabaksin po yung mga anak nila. I am just requesting and suggesting po, encouraging based on my experience lang po. Yun lang po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Loreto Oquendo. So far, okay na po kayo, sir?
Okay na po. But at the moment, I'm in the Lorma po, dialysis.
Yeah, I know. I know. Nakikita ko kayo eh. So, I know that you are still. But praise God po.
Thanks to God.
Even you have the comorbidity, andyan pa rin kayo. And we are very happy, sir, to hear from you.
Thank
Okay.
you po.
Thank you. So that's an encouraging statement from Sir Loreto, taking that statement from him that, if we can let children be vaccinated so that the assurance will be there. Okay, thank you. Are there other things that we want us to hear from you or other suggestions? Any sharing po before we are going to end?
We have a question here for intended for senior high school. Um, we will just make the announcement, the official announcement, ma'am, of the midterm and final exam of grades 11 and 12 through your children. But with regard to the schedule for the midterm exam of the grade 11 and 12 will be on February 4 and 5. And then their finals will be on February, the last week of February, 25 and 26. There's a 3-week interval. Okay. Do we have other concerns po or messages po? We have a message from Engineer Ofilado po. As per City Ordinance 22-03, all businesses are requested to ask for vaccination cards from their customers. If none, they cannot enter without a face shield. So the policy is vaccination card or face shield upon entry. Okay. So that's for the different business establishments. Okay, so
It's a good information, Engineer Opilada. Thank you very much. Because of course, even though our parents will go there or some of the children will go there, if they're not vaccinated, then they will not be allowed. I think all of this will come in the near future. So maybe it's one way to encourage our parents to go on for vaccination. Okay. Thank you so much. So if there will be no other things that you want to share this time, maybe you need to do some reflections. You can just share to us. You can message me, or you can go to my messenger or to BHC. All these things that you wanted to share for us, or any suggestion po na gusto nyo pong sabihin, you are all welcome to share it to us. So,
Ayan, na-insert ka na. Sige,
are there no
mayakon.
more?
Okay. Ma'am Cynthia. Ma'am Cynthia.
Thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. And again, we always, I always send this message to our teachers that every time that I send that to the chat, hindi po nag-e-end yung message ko sa kanila ng ganito. Palagi kong sinasabi, let's all pray for the BHC family so that everyone will be safe and protected. So, yun po ay palagi po nating binabanggit na sana, and I'm so happy that yung mga nagdaanan natin noong 2021 because we lost some of our parents. And sana itong year 2022, it would be a better year for all of us, that no one will leave us, of course, that all of us will still be here. Remember, I told you a while back that we are very lucky because of our teachers. When I counted, 1995, 27 years, and most of us are still here because we enjoyed and we are happy of what we are doing. Yun po yung unang nakita ko sa mga ibang school na pinuntahan ko, na most of the teachers in terms of their teaching experiences and their stay in the school where they are, karamihan po bago, 1 taon lang, wala pa pong nakakalimang taon. And yun po yung isa na alam ko na strength natin, yung ating mga teachers have been with us until now. Ayan, nandyan na sila, nandyan pa rin sila. And they do not keep themselves na, alam ko na yan, noon pa yung tinuturo ko. I'm just so happy that they embrace the new trends, lalong-lalo na itong dalawang principal natin, Teacher Robert and Teacher Danny, that hindi po papahuli. Kumbaga sa kahit na may edad na, like Teacher Beth, may edad na si Teacher Beth, kagaya ko. Pero we are still embracing what is new. We are trying to help ourselves in order that we can also teach the children. So, alam ko na sinasabi ko palagi sa kanila na parents, when they are satisfied, they will stay with us. At nakita ko po yun sa inyo, na kahit na malayo po kayo, may simple pong activity sa bahay nyo, pinaparating nyo po sa amin. So maraming salamat po for giving us the sharing to us your blessings, and for also letting your children stay with us and trying to also help us as teachers, because of course pag wala po kong bata sa school, definitely wala din yung school. So yun po yung palagi kong sinasabi. And right now there are schools which are closing already because of they lost their students. So again, my dear parents, thank you so much for staying with us and for partnering with us in the development of the foundation of your children. So Teacher Robert, you want to say something before Teacher Danny will end?
I think I have already mentioned my words earlier, that whatever decisions that we'll make for next school year and the next years to come, we'll always make sure that it will foster more collaborations between and among teachers, students, and parents in such a way that we will still protect each other.
Okay. Thank you, Teacher Robert. Teacher Danny, your
Yes.
conclusion.
Though there are still some questions and suggestions here in our chat. We will not
Okay.
read them anymore, but we will consider them. We have already taken a note of those, like for example, if there will be health declaration form for their children, etc. So we have considered all of those po. And before we will end po, let's have another photo opportunity for everybody. So we have 10 panels at the moment, and we need to smile 10 times. Okay, so ready na po tayo.
Sandali, naka-off
So
pala.
for the first panel, yes.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, so that is for the first panel. Then let's have the second panel. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. All right. Yan. So third panel, ready?
Okay,
1,
well, having the
2,
picture taking, I would like to
1, 2, 3,
congratulate the
smile.
Pisay passers again that boosted our
Fourth panel,
standard.
1, 2, 3,
We are the
smile.
only school that produces 10 out of 10 in the Pisay, and we congratulate the
Fifth
parents
panel, 1,
for
2, 3,
passing for
smile.
letting your child take the Pisay exam. So your children are assured
Sixth
of the
panel,
100% tuition
smile.
fee free po sa school natin. Okay. So we hope that your children will
Seventh,
stay with us
smile.
because the same thing will happen. You know, if they will go to other school,
Eighth panel,
just be a
smile.
virtual or it's just the same kind of modality. So you have
Ninth panel,
proven
smile.
also already something. So let your children stay with us, and we will help
Finally,
one another
smile.
so that they can be developed in the way that you wanted them. Okay? So Ma'am Landingin, nakikita kita dyan. Sino pa yung mga pastor ng anak natin? 10 Ma'am Rojas, Ma'am Maril, sino pa ba? Marami po kayo. So, malaki pong karangalan po yung ginawa ng mga bata.
Yes. And for
Siyempre,
those,
thank you, Teacher Robert. Nandyan si Teacher Robert dyan. Okay.
For those who were not able to attend the whole duration of the assembly, we will be sending a video recording of this meeting through a Google Drive link so that you
Upon
could...
request, Teacher Danny. Upon
yes.
request.
Yes. Okay. So you may just contact the advisor of your child. Pero baka mamayang hapon pa po kasi ipaprocess pa po itong video. All right, so there you go. So thank you very much once again to our dear parents who attended our General Assembly. I hope you were enlightened of the expectations for the next school year. And we will be giving you a polished plan soon, okay, with regard to this one. And we will also be conducting a survey.
Oh,
For
we have also
those-
parent from outside the country. Like we have here Carl Joseph Gomez, Mr. and Mrs. Gomez. Thank you for attending. Okay.
From Singapore
Mrs.
din po,
Stoke din,
Sir Stephen Ree.
Oh,
And
from
Mrs. Stoke
Singapore.
from Middle
Wow.
East.
From Middle East, yes. Okay, thank you. I would like also to congratulate Mrs. Alqueza. Ayan. 8 ha, biggest delegation kahapon, ma'am. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we encourage, we encourage you to join activities like this. Ngayon nga, nakakatuwa, no? Kasi walang umaalis. We maintain the 200 plus. And your presence this morning mean a lot to us. And it means a lot also to your children. Why? Because meaning to say that you value what your children are doing, right? Okay. Kasi you took time to join us this morning. Thank you so much. And for the parents who are outside the country, thank you for joining. And to all of you, thank you for joining the BHC family. And we assure you that we continue all the things that we can give and making it the best so that we can really go for the global standard. Thank you very much. Mabuhay
Bye,
po ang BHC
everyone.
family.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much po.
Hi, Chair.
Bye-bye. Dami nila. Oh. Ma'am Daphne, thank you.
Bye-bye,
Sir. Yes, Ma'am Ria, thank you. From Rojas City, si Ma'am Ria, yes.
Bye.
Ay, ang dami. Ma'am
Bye,
Christy,
sir.
nakaka ng bigas.
Bye-bye po, teacher.
Bye-bye, my dear.
Bye, Teacher Lori.
Bye-bye. Ang
Bye,
gagaling
Teacher
yan.
Lori. Stay safe.
Bye, Sean Brown. Sean
Bye,
Brown
bye.
sa Los Angeles.
Po, Teacher Lori.
Wow.
No, we're in La
yan.
Union.
Now in La Union, okay.
Yeah.
Alam, Ma'am, Mrs.
Bye,
Thailand,
Teacher
thank you.
Bye, Teacher Robert. Thank you po.
100% tuition fee reimbursement.
Bye,
Ma'am
Teacher
Thailand, Mrs. Thailand, thank you so much for joining.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.